Hey guys, Mike the Vike here. Welcome to my second channel, supposedly. So right off the bat, I was recently interested in buying a gimbal for the first time in a while. And of course, as you do, I look up online, gotta check YouTube, and the latest and greatest gimbal appears to be the Zhiyun Crane 2S, okay? Fast forward like a couple weeks, and of course I pick one up. I got the dual grip model. It was like a value pack. Now what's funny is I tried using it with my Sony a7 III with a 24-70 2.8. What is fantastic is this thing didn't work at all with this setup in its current form. And I tried everything, it was perfectly balanced, no issues there. I did every axis. So if you do decide to buy one of these, and you have this rig, or a rig where the lens is a lot heavier than the body, my advice, which is counterintuitive, like I figured it'd be better to take the cage off, but the thing would only balance with the cage on, which I thought was very interesting. Anywho, I got the thing balanced, got it all set up. Honestly, after using this thing for a couple weeks now, just testing it out, couple shoots, not too happy with it. So of course, there's a reason there's a second gimbal. This is the Ronin S. I think it's the regular standard kit. Just to fill you in, this is sort of like the industry standard gimbal. And I'll be straight up, it's very apparent that the Crane is trying to knock off or just like basically copy the Ronin. You can tell this immediately. You know, the Ronin came out a year ago or whatever, and it comes in this nice case, right? Blah, blah, blah. It looks cool. And what do you know, the Crane also now comes in a very similar case. And you can see that in basically every aspect. Like, it's just so obviously trying to steal the Ronin market, you know? Okay, in terms of features, you already know, but it does have this nifty feature where you can lock each axis independently, and this makes balancing super fast, no doubt about it. Definitely easier than something than the Ronin where it's dancing all over the place. It also has a quick release plate, and that's nifty, and in theory, it's easy to switch to vertical mode. I haven't used it though, I'll be honest. But this is actually a really nice feature because if you just want to get your camera out of there, you can do it really fast and it'll be locked in and stable, ready to go. Now, here's the thing. Are those two features, or three I guess, nice and appreciated? Yes. But in my opinion, all these fluffy little bonus things are lovely, but what I care about is how does the footage actually look? And how does the thing handle in terms of usability? How's the menus? How's all that jazz? And that is where the Crane, in my opinion, in my experience, falls apart. Firstly, like the menu system on the back. It is convenient that it does have a display, but my goodness, do they feel like first gen or like alpha? Like it doesn't feel legit. Like even every category is all in lowercase. It feels like some kind of back-end code or something. Now, of course you can figure it out, but here's the thing. I'm only willing to deal with really crappy, annoying menus if there's no good alternative or there's some outstanding reason to use this thing over another option. So I think it's just ridiculous. Like me personally, like I'm a really lazy person. I want things to just turn on and work and maybe a little bit of fuss and user customization, but more or less, I want it to be seamless. I don't want to have to be searching through YouTube for random guides or any of this other stuff. Another thing that was annoying was I tried using the focus wheel thing and like the whole menu system back here, because apparently you can do that. And there's videos of it, but I couldn't get it working. I don't know. There's so many hilarious little tutorials online, and I'm sure they work, but I could not figure them out. You had to like, what did you have to do? There was sequences, like you had to do one setting, then another, then you had to turn it off, then you had to hold a button for 2 seconds. Anyways, it didn't work for me, firstly. And once again, way too complicated, okay? So anyways, after all that, like I said, I did buy this Ronin S because I heard good things. And what do you know? I turn it on, and the thing is so easy to use. Throw your camera on there, balance it. The app, I'll say it's not perfect. It's not the most stable thing of all time, but it works. I don't mind if a thing crashes. If I reopen it and it works, I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? It's functional. So the usability of the Ronin is definitely superior in my opinion. And I know that the features like these little axis lock things are nice to have, but this isn't that hard to balance. Firstly, I actually could do it very quickly. Not an issue. So I think, you know, you got to really be careful with yourself about like the whole consumerism like mentality. Yes, this has one new feature, but do you really need it? And is it really the important thing to look at? And by the way, oh my goodness, I haven't even talked about how the footage looks. So in my opinion, the app and just the general settings that you can do on the back of this are nowhere near as good as what you have on the Ronin. The Ronin has really awesome smoothness settings, and you can just get buttery pans and tilts. It's really, really impressive. On this guy, not so much. It's not perfect. Yeah, it just still looks a little bit too robotic. It's really close. I would say it's about halfway there. But I don't know. When the Ronin is available, I'd rather have the Ronin. You know, the thing about these stabilizers, and the reason I am not really a huge fan of them, is they often looked so robotic. The gimbal I had before this, my first gimbal, was a Zhiyun Crane V2. So I think that was the second gimbal they made. And yeah, I ended up selling it after a year. You know, I love the footage, but I quickly learnt that it was very robotic. You could tell it was on a gimbal. And the entire goal of something like this is that you don't want to take people out of it and them knowing, oh, this was shot on a gimbal. You know what I mean? Now, here's the fantastic cherry on top, okay? So the Crane 2 I bought for 900, I think, Canadian, and that was that bonus pack with the grip and all that jazz, which in my opinion I say is essential. This grip isn't really all that great for two hands, and I personally don't like using this as a grip because I want to be able to put it down. Anyways, cherry on top, this was 900, like I was saying. This I bought off Craigslist for 600 bucks. And again, it was the full standard kit. And I know that that's obviously going to depend on where you live, but this is a personal video. But also, it's not like the Ronin is like double the price compared to the Zhiyun. If I remember right, I think brand new, the regular kit compared to this, I think this is about 200 bucks more Canadian. But to counter that, they also make a cut down version of this that doesn't have like the focus wheel, which to me is totally fine and acceptable. And then, okay, on top of that, I'm a little biased. Like, it does bug me. I don't want to buy a knockoff. I don't want to buy something that is trying to copy something else. You know what I mean? I want to have the real deal. I want to have the most legit thing available. I have an example in mind, and I'm not going to say company names because I don't want to start any fires. But let's say, and this is in a bunch of different industries, there's usually a bigger company, and they know what they're doing. They've been around for a little bit, at least. They release a product, and it's solid. It's reliable. The features are good. No worries. Competitors that are starting up, they want to compete, obviously, so they usually sell their thing for cheaper. It'll probably have more features and a bunch of stuff like that. And they'll try to sell you on that, right? It's got axis lock, it's got this. And they try to make that enticing. But at the end of the day, when you compare the actual end result, the things that matter, usually that smaller end company is just not as good as the older product with less features. But also slight damage control here. So firstly, I have no doubt that a lot of the features that are in this Crane are going to be in the new version of the Ronin, which I believe is coming pretty soon. It's just that these bonus features, these nice to have features, should not be the reason you buy it. You should focus on those more important features first, okay? And then also, like, I don't mean to completely bash on this. Bear in mind, I'm a very persnickety, perfectionist person, okay? There's a chance you may not notice or care about these minute differences in padding that I'm referring to, okay? Now, there is definitely a chance that the Crane will eventually outperform the Ronin, right? It'll be cheaper, it'll have better features, they'll have the smoothing sorted out, the menu will work, blah, blah, blah. It's just that for the time being, we're not there yet. Okay, I think that more or less does it. Moral of the story is just make sure you are clear on what features are really important when you're buying something, and try to cut through all those gimmicky, fancy features and just make sure the real thing, the core functionality actually works, okay? That's gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome to the channel. If you enjoyed, press the like button. It's somewhere, I don't know where, it's somewhere around there. All right. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.